To the show. Hi, I'm Randy Jeffers, and we are live from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, we have a really special guest all the way from the other side of the world, at least a few hours away from the United Kingdom. We have Pastor Gareth Lavelle with us. Gareth, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Randy?
Best day of my life. It's a little bit late there. It's 4 in the afternoon here in Las Vegas, and it must be about midnight there, huh?
Just 5 after midnight.
Yeah, well, that's thanks for staying up so late, and great talking to you. You and I have known each other for a number of years now, and we met in Thailand. Do you remember when we met? Do you remember us meeting?
I do indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
we met at an orphanage of yours, right?
Yes. We did,
And that was
yeah,
that was Liberty Foundation, right? Your orphanage.
Liberty Kids. That's right.
Liberty
And you had
Kids,
an orphanage
yeah.
just a few miles away. Tell us about what you were doing there.
Well, as you just introduced me, I'm a pastor, a minister of God, and I was running a Bible school and also an orphanage for the underprivileged Hill Tribe children in Thailand. And a lot of these kids, they come from very problematic backgrounds, fatherless. Some are orphaned, some are semi-orphaned, meaning their father's shot through, or they don't know where the whereabouts of their father, or their father is in jail. This kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember meeting many of the kids there, and as a matter of fact, one day I remember coming out to your orphanage. And of course, the mode of transportation here is riding a moped. That's a sort of a preferred way. There's thousands of those. So I was riding the moped, if you remember, out there, and it was a gravelly dirt road. And all of a sudden, there was a dog that came running after me, and so I tried to use my foot to get him away from me so he wouldn't bite. I ran right into a pothole and went just flying. As soon as I did that, he took off. He just must have scared him worse than me. But I remember sort of limping up to you guys, and you patched me up, and I still have some scars from that. But you guys patched me up, and I was on my way, so everything worked out great.
Well, that's what you get when you venture out into a tropical jungle area. And as you said, that dog was probably a wild mountain dog, so you were very, very lucky. And you've got something to remember us by, the scar on your knee, right?
That's right. I'll never forget that.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about when you first came in? Like, I remember a lot of blood on your leg.
It was pouring down my leg, that's for sure. But you guys patched me up, and I remember the kids there. I gave a little motivational pep talk to the kids, at your request, if you remember, and wonderful kids. You just had a great ministry there. You had they were all boys, as I remember, living there on the premises, and I think you had girls somewhere else, right, in another location.
We had girls, yeah, and a lot of their parents were involved in drugs and prostitution, and so we had the girls orphan and also boys orphan. But they were mainly troubled teenagers. They weren't little tiny kids. They were teenagers, and some of them been in and out of prison also, for juvenile delinquency, small crimes like drugs, smoking pot, and things like this. So we had a lot of damage to undo in these kids. And when you came up, I remember that day very specifically. The first thing you said to me, you said, "Tell me what is exciting in your life." And then I went on to tell you all about the great work that we was doing in the orphanage. And you gave a very inspirational word to me and also to the kids. And you came across very, very positive. And I know your words will stick with those kids for the rest of their lives.
Well, I hope so. It's really amazing to those of us who have not ventured outside the United States and outside of a comfortable environment, which of course a lot of Americans have not done. But there are some terrifically bad things that happen to kids all over the world, and there's a lot of bad things that happen to kids here in the United States as well. And a lot of it goes unreported. A lot of us don't even know anything about some of those things. But you know what? It's just amazing when you go to a country like Thailand, for instance, and and you see, because it really is a different. Tell us a little bit about how does it differ from a first world country, like the UK or United States, a country like Thailand, which is probably more sophisticated than certainly a lot of countries, but how is it different there?
Well, let me just tell you, I was there 29 years. So when I remember first going into the culture and getting my first meal, and it was this wonderful Thai green curry, and it was served on boiled rice. And when I put my spoon in it, a chicken's foot came out of it, and I dropped the spoon because they eat chicken's feet, they eat all kinds of strange foods. So that was a big, massive cultural shock to me coming from the UK. And like even simple things like ice, there they bring big blocks of ice on the back of a truck. Well, here we have it all nicely bagged up. Everything's sterile. Everything's very clean. But there, it's like can only describe it like an SAS or MI5 CIA boot camp. They drag the ice through the street and they chip it off, and that's how they don't have refrigeration only in large establishments. So when you go to a fresh food market, you see meats on crushed ice, you see vegetables on crushed ice, and the market's completely mind-warping or mind-shaping compared to what you get in the beautiful, luxurious supermarkets and department stores in Vegas and in the UK. And technology, when I first went there, the computer was on dial-up. And in the UK and America, we have fiber optic. So every time there was a storm or a bit of wind being a dial-up, my computer system would go down, and I get charged every time. So sometimes I was getting disconnection 30 times a day, and it made it very frustrating. And I think that's because primarily we was in the jungle. And so, you get that culture shock, and then everybody has got dark black hair. They've all got brown eyes, and they're much smaller. They're probably your shoulder height. And some of them who were 16 and 17, like the teenagers we were taking care of, they look about 9, 10, or 11 maximum. So they seem to age very, very slowly. But when they reach the 45, 46 mark, they age very, very rapidly. And the food is very interesting. It's hot and spicy. They have delicious food, and they have some very strange foods. They eat things like insects and things like that, and we don't do that in the UK. So that's a big cultural difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the best food in Thailand, for instance, is on the street. And
That's right.
as you know, when you go into one of the, like, let's say Chiang Mai or Bangkok, you go into the core of the city, you'll have everybody seems to be an entrepreneur. So they have their own food cart, and the streets are just lined with them, and just some incredible food that you can find. I remember one day I saw a moped that had, how the food carts are 6-8 feet or something like that long, and maybe 30 inches wide or something. I actually saw someone that had a husband, a wife, and 2 little kids on this moped, and on the back of the moped, hanging off of it, was their food cart, stretched out 8 feet across, and it was actually, they actually had a propane tank, and it was all lit up, so they were actually heating. I mean, you could not get away with that anywhere else, but I don't know how they without blowing up, but it was just incredible. But I'm sure they set up somewhere along the side of the road or the street and sold all their food for the day. But it really is great food. But it's just amazing. But one thing I know, Gareth, is that no matter where you go in the world, kids are still the same. They respond to love. They respond to positive things. They respond to good news, and that's one of the things that you were able to do, is you were able to bring them good news. And tell us about some of your success stories that you have.
Well, we've had quite a lot of success stories. Like we've brought teenagers from the juvenile prison where they was in there for drug-related issues. And normally, when somebody's been in a youth prison, society wants to make them outcast. Well, I see potential in everybody, and so we used to give a home to some of these kids, And we had one kid from Burma, actually, a Burmese refugee guy, and his mother had been raped multiple times by the ruling military junta in Burma. And after several years of that torture, she was shot in the head right in front of this 15-year-old boy. And then through my organization and generous donors, we paid the Karen army, which is the opposite army to the Burmese junta, the military there, and we cut a hole through the fence. We had to go through the jungle in Burma. We got this boy out, but he also had a little 4-year-old sister who was left in the camp and we couldn't get. And that 4-year-old sister was raped, and she was also shot in the head. And so this boy came to us. He was completely traumatized, and he was mixed with all these other kids from all diverse backgrounds, and they really made a positive difference. Now, the greatest thing about this story is the success of it is, with counseling, with a lot of love and care over a 2-year period, giving him a stable home and giving him good food and love, lots of love. We was able to find his only living relative, which was a sister, and she was up on the Thai-Burmese border, and we reunited this boy with his long-lost sister. So, that is absolutely fantastic news. And so we have results like that. And people who've been in prison, they can switch their life around, because our ministry was about empowering the youth and helping them set up little businesses and just change their life. And so it's absolutely fantastic. Now, we don't have success with everybody. We couldn't help millions. We was a very, very small orphanage, and we was a Bible school. We did things like organic gardening. We did aquaponics. We had a fish farm. We had a bakery. We taught them how to make jam. Everything you can think of to give them life skills and transfer those skills over to them so that they could have an empowered future and they could be free again. And that is the greatest reward you can do when you're doing humanitarian work.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you are taking a hiatus right now for a short time and back in the UK. And tell us how that's going.
Well, again, I've been 29 years in Southeast Asia. I got the culture shock going into Thailand, and I got the reverse culture shock coming back, because when I came back here, everything has changed. All the architecture, apart from the houses that I'm in, which are like 1938 terraced houses, very small, all the architecture is based on California style. So I was really blown away, and everything is so... The culture is so diverse. Like on my street, we have like 10 different cultures. We have a lot from Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Russia. We have every kind of person and every kind of culture living on my street. So it's a great place and great potential to bring the good of Jesus Christ to them. So, and there's a lot of poverty too. Great poverty in the UK as there is in the US.
So it's what would you say would be the biggest change that you've seen after being gone for so many years?
What my biggest change and my biggest shock factor was how expensive things are in the UK.
Yeah.
Like, for example, in the UK, you can buy 3 bananas for like $0.50, but in Thailand, you can get an entire bunch like this.
Yeah.
For about 20 cents, And so the price, I'm still thinking, after being 29 years in Thailand, I'm still thinking Thai price. Because every time I go to the market, I get this big shock buying simple fruit and vegetables, which is, is phenomenal in Southeast Asia, the array of vegetables. But simple things that you could get over there, which were very inexpensive, are very expensive here and very hard to get hold of.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as part of your hiatus, your little break you're taking, you've gotten yourself involved in a little business, cryptocurrency, right?
It's absolutely exciting. And the reason I got involved in cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin and various altcoins in the first place is because when I was doing my ministry in Thailand, funding was very hard to come by because, like you said before, every country has got its own problems. So trying to raise funds to take care of these underprivileged kids was very difficult. So I started to look online for alternative ways to make a profit, so I could put that back into the ministry, to help these kids. And I came across a lot of online businesses I never knew anything about, and many businesses, they disappeared overnight, and it was like a minefield. And I failed so many times, Randy. I failed so many times because a lot of the businesses out there were scam. They went scam. They were from Russia, and all kinds of things happened. But during that learning process of trying to raise funds to do good, because money, as you know, is just a tool. It's like a screwdriver. If you got a screwdriver, you want the screwdriver not for the screwdriver. You want it to screw in the screw. And if you've got an hammer, you don't want it. And a nail, you don't want the nail, you just want the nail to make a hole in the wall, right? So my venture into online business started in Thailand, and to raise funds. Now, I did make some, and I was able to give these kids a better quality of life. So I got into cryptocurrencies. And so over the last 15 years, I've been on and off in different businesses and trying to find my feet, trying to make money online, because many people don't know how to make money online. Many people don't know how to empower themselves. And the internet is just electric with online businesses. And if you know what you're doing, if you've been through the failures, you can find out, and you get more wise to what is good and what is not good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this new venture of yours that's in the cryptocurrency industry, tell us the name of it.
It's Cryptonaire. And what does Cryptonaire mean? It means a cryptocurrency millionaire, right? So we all want to be, many people have got dreams to be a millionaire. I personally want to be a multi-millionaire, but not for my own self. I want to better myself too, but my heart is so big to help these people. I want to get back out into Thailand, and I want to create small businesses and empower people. So the business is called Cryptonaire, and what it is, Cryptonaire is a massive, absolutely phenomenal marketing system, which is linked to a trading company called Cryptrade Capital. Okay, so Cryptonaire is the marketing side, and Cryptrade Capital is the actual trading side. Now, when you join this business, you don't really have to do very much. You sign up and you go through a three-step system, which you up with the Cryptrade Capital, and then you've got professional trading analysts who trade various bitcoins, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, Litecoin, Monero, and this kind of thing. They're trading them 24/7, 365 days, and you can earn 1% a day or 7% a week passively on autopilot. It is absolutely phenomenal. And I've done, like I said, 15 years in online business, and I've failed big time. But I just know, when you get that feeling inside you, you just know that this is the right business because it's working for me. And I started with just $50. My account, I've only been in it now a month and a half. My account is $900 already. Wow. And so $900 can go a long way. I'm still, very small compared to some of the marketers. But just as I slept last night, somebody invested $50,000 into their trading platform, and it's all going automatically, and we're earning as we sleep. So, just this last week, I've made like $20-30 just in commissions alone, and you get trading bonuses when you reach certain levels. So it is absolutely phenomenal. It's exciting and it's powerful, and Bitcoin is global.
Yes, absolutely. So if somebody wants to find out a little bit about this business or wants to get involved with you, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, you can see, everybody watching this, they can see my name there, and they can see my link there. So all you have to do is either write down that link, or you can contact me at Mr. Gareth Lavelle. That's my name on the screen then, but Mr. in front at gmail.com, and I will walk you through step by step. Now, anybody who joins in my team, I look after them, and you don't have to be tech savvy. I can teach you step by step. We can do a Skype conference together, or we can hook up with email, and I can show you step by step how to get into the system. And then once you're in the system, you're going to be making money as you sleep, and that's what we all want to do, right?
Yes, absolutely.
The reason we want to do that is because we want time freedom, and time freedom gives us freedom to spend time with our family, our friends, and our loved ones. And it's a great business for single parents at home. It's great for anybody, really. And our team, the team, in 11 weeks flat, have earned over $1 million. So that is absolutely fantastic. And I'm climbing up the rankings. And just last week, one of my downlines said they're going to put 20K in. So I'm going to get some nice commissions from that also.
Oh, very good. Very good. Well, I wish you well on that venture. And so if someone's out there and they're watching right now and they're looking for some passive income or maybe some extra income by doing some work, they can get a hold of you and you'll walk them through all of that, and that'll be fabulous. So once again, that's Mr. Gareth. The Gareth is Gareth at Lavelle, Lavell, right, at gmail.com.
That's correct.
Mr.
Yes.
Gareth Lavelle at gmail.com. Now, also, I'm sure you still have contacts, Gareth, with the orphanages, and so if somebody wants to maybe adopt a child or maybe sponsor a child or or help out, can you point people in that direction as well?
I can indeed, and if they email me on that email you just read out, I also take donations in Bitcoin and Ethereum, so any of the cryptocurrencies. And what is good about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin is it's peer-to-peer, and so you can send money anywhere in the world for 1/10 of a cent, US cent, right? And normally that gets there within 10 minutes to an hour. But when you send through the banking systems, it can take 4 or 5 days and cost you 30 to 40 or maybe $50 to send. So people don't like to send by the banks. People like to send the easy way and the cost-effective way. And so that is an excellent way to make a donation, is via Bitcoin. And it's fantastic for that. And there's no bank interference, there's no government, because it's decentralized, which means that it's giving the freedom back to the people. And so it is a phenomenal system.
Oh, that's fabulous. So you're back in the UK for a while now, and I'm assuming you're doing some ministry work there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I go with my fiance. We go around the local town here, and there's a lot of people sleeping on the street in cardboard boxes, which is very, very sad. And some have drug problems. But if I was on the street and I was that poor, I think I would be smoking pot myself, or I would be drinking. So they've got all kinds of problems. And like in America, that we have a lot of vets who are on the street. They've been fighting in Afghanistan and all this, but their pensions, it just doesn't cut it, and they end up on the streets. And so they've got a lot of emotional problems also. So we go out to them, we give them food, we get blankets for them, we get clothing. We get a lot of clothing from the thrift shop, because it's cheaper for us because we don't yet have enough funding. So we get what we can, because you can get some good designer clothes in the thrift shop, and we give them to these guys on the street. There's women on there with little babies, there's teenagers, there's vets, there's all kind of people on the street. And the crazy thing is, which I just learned last week, when you're walking through a busy town, and think about this in Vegas, right? When you're walking through the Vegas Strip, there's hundreds of homeless people beneath your feet. They're sleeping underground in the sewer systems, and you don't even know they're there. And that is very, very sad.
Yes, absolutely. There are thousands of people here in Las Vegas that down under the sewer tunnels. It's very, very sad. Now you're in Manchester, right?
Yeah, Manchester in the United Kingdom.
How big a city is Manchester?
Well, let me see now. We're a very, very small island. So maybe the entire country is the size of Vegas.
Wow.
So you can get, if there were no traffic, you could get from the head of the country to the tail of the country within 5.5 hours. Maybe doing a bit of speeding, which I don't recommend, but you could do that. It's a very, very small island surrounded by water, and then a few miles up the sea is France. So we're connected to the European Union.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's a lot of politics going on right now in your part of the world, and anything you want to comment on that?
Well, actually, just last night I was reading a tweet on Twitter about President Donald Trump, and it's related to Bitcoin, which I found really, really interesting.
Yeah.
You know, the cryptocurrency was invented by a guy called Satoshi. Let me just find his name. I've just got to just check my notes. Satoshi Nakamoto or something like that. It's a strange Japanese name. But Donald Trump tweeted last night that he is this Satoshi guy, and he was the one who invented the Bitcoin because he was so disgusted with the financial affairs globally. And he's got billions of dollars in Bitcoin, along with people like Bill Gates. He's got over $1 billion in Bitcoin. Wow. And the British one is Richard Branson. Now get this is so cool. Richard Branson, he owns the Virgin business and he owns airlines and everything. He will allow you to fly out to the moon or into space, and you can pay for that with Bitcoin. How cool is that?
Very cool. Got to have quite a few Bitcoin, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Bitcoins, if you go back in the history of Bitcoin, they started out about how much was one Bitcoin worth in the early days?
It started out in 2008, 2009, and it was absolutely worthless. And a very true story, which is all over the internet, people can find out. There was a guy in America who had a bunch of these Bitcoin, and they were worth nothing. Okay, and so he said to his friend, "Can you send me a pizza online, and I'll give you some of these Bitcoin?" So this guy sent him a pizza. He got the pizza, and he gave him 10,000 Bitcoin, and that was in 2009. Wow. And now he's a multi-millionaire. So it just shows the power of Bitcoin. Now, just earlier in this year, in 2017, I know about this because I was doing Bitcoin. The price was only $1,300 US. Today, right now, it's 47.77. Wow. And so I spoke to you yesterday, and it was 45, right? It's gone up $200 overnight. So that is absolutely powerful, right? And it is the biggest thing and the best thing for everybody, because a lot of people who don't know about it will maybe say, I don't understand it, it's a bad idea, and it will never happen in a million years. But, the smartphone, how many people believed in the smartphone, right? And now they're global. Even in third world countries, they have these cheap smartphones or these cheap mobile phones. And so the smartphone goes everywhere. The Microsoft guy, Bill Gates, he's invested $1 billion, and half of his Microsoft operations run on the software from Bitcoin. And so, and like I said, President Donald Trump, he's got billions into this, and he's claiming to be the inventor of Bitcoin because he was absolutely disgusted. How true this is, I don't know, but he apparently is supposed to have tweeted that out last night. And there was 27,000 viewers who looked on that tweet, so there you go.
Wow. So how high do you think the price will go on Bitcoins?
Well, I think by the end of this month, it will reach 5,000 US dollars. And I think within the next 10 years, it could reach anything from $100,000 to 1 million.
And that's for one Bitcoin?
Yeah. Nobody really knows. That's for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the originator of all the different cryptocurrencies, of which is now over 800. But the most famous ones, the first one was in 2009 was Bitcoin. And then the second one came in 2010, I believe, which is Ether or Ethereum. It's the same thing. And then you got Dashcoin and Litecoin and Monero. And a good secure, this possibly the most secure wallet in the world is the Airbits wallet, and it's a downloadable thing to your smartphone. It's the technology, the encryption is even better than US military or British military technology. So that is just absolutely fantastic.
So you're talking about an e-wallet, right? The Airbits e-wallet.
Yeah, the Airbits e-wallet.
For those that don't know about that, how describe that to us, define it for us.
Okay, it's a piece of software. It's an app. You've heard of apps. There's apps for everything. Apps to get pizzas, directions, and everything. It's an app that is been designed with massive military or beyond military encryption, which downloads to your phone, is free of charge, but it keeps all your Bitcoins secure, because that is a big issue. Like in the banking system, banks closed down in Greece. The banking and the government system was so corrupt they were dipping into the funds of the people, and they made them become starving. In Argentina, the same thing there. And so the banking system and the monetary system as we know it now will not last. So what are you going to do when you get older? We're all reaching retirement. I'm 52 years old now, and I don't want to reach my late 60s and have to depend on a government pension that may or may not be there. So I want to go with the best, most secure system, which is Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, to secure my future and to secure the future of these kids that I'm trying to help, without government or banks dipping into my money at will. Right, so the banking system is collapsing, and if you're not in cryptocurrencies, you'll be very sorry later. And I don't want you to be sorry. I want you to learn about Bitcoin. And when I first started to learn about it, I was absolutely overwhelmed. I thought, you get a code about this long, which is the encryption code. It's letters and numbers. And I was saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. But anybody, even a non-techie person, even grandmothers use Bitcoin. And you can buy things in the store. You can buy pizza with it. You can do your grocery shopping with it. You can do all those things with Bitcoin.
Well, once again, to contact you, they go to Mr. Gareth Lavelle, GarethLavell, at gmail.com. And now
Yes,
you have a website also for Kryptonaire, right?
Yeah, the link is on there, www.kryptonaire.co/Amadat. That's Amadat, and Amadat means eternal life. It's Bali Sanskrit language, because I was in Thailand so long, so I like that.
Absolutely.
I want to live the Amadat life, the eternal life. So there you go.
You can live it by being a Kryptonaire, huh?
That's right. Yeah. And I'm on my way. I'm climbing up to become a Kryptonaire.
Oh, very good. Well, I know your heart's with children and children's causes. And what do you see in the future? What types of things do you see yourself going back to Thailand, or what do you think is going to happen?
I most certainly do, and I'm not going to be going back alone. That's a good thing. Before I was out there on my own.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting married very soon, actually in November.
Congratulations.
And, Bitcoin is going to pay for my wedding. How exciting is that?
That's very
Bitcoin is going to be paying for my wedding. I met this beautiful, beautiful lady called Ellen in my local church, and she's got a missionary heart, and she's just a diamond in the sky. And we're going to go out there and continue to do the work, not only in Thailand, but in Burma. I've got connections in Burma, obviously, because Burma is very close to Thailand. And we're going to continue to reach out and help those men, women, and children in the greatest need. And Bitcoin and other alternative cryptocurrencies is the way.
Yeah.
So that's going to fund our trips.
Now,
So
what
it's
made you
just
pick?
phenomenal.
What made you pick Thailand or Southeast Asia? What was there a specific reason for that?
Well, we all have dreams, right? And growing up in the UK, every single Christmas time, we always had a movie come on called The King and I, and it was about a British/American, we're not sure which, missionary lady went to Thailand.
Uh-huh.
And she was an English teacher.
Yeah.
And it was a phenomenal film. And this movie was banned in Thailand, obviously, because they're royal family. But it was a true story. She went out there and she fell in love with the king. And that was that. And when I saw this movie every single year as a child, I dreamed of going there. And then I saw movies, like Mother Teresa in Calcutta, and the poverty just moved my heart. My heart was so burdened, it was bleeding with compassion to help these people. And I didn't know how to start. But then, I always had that Thailand movie, The King and I, in my heart. And I went to Thailand, and I went there as a 25-year-old, not knowing anything about the country, didn't speak the language. but now I'm fluent in the Thai language. That's the gift the Thai people gave back to me. And I love all the different food, and I love the temperature. In my country, in the UK, it's always raining. Even if it's only 10 minutes a day of rain, the sun never really shines. It's got a great culture, but I like warm countries now. I'm so used to that, and I love the smiling people, the Thai people, they smile all the time. And I think that's because they're getting the sun, so they're getting the vitamin D3, right? And in this country, it's grey skies, so people don't tend to smile as much, which is not so good,
Yeah, you mentioned smiles. Thailand is, they call it the land of smiles, and it really is true. People there are very happy. They do smile even when they have very little. They live for the day. They just find joy in the little things in life, and it really is a different culture. It's so different from what we would know here in the United States or in the UK, but it's a magical place, isn't it?
Absolutely magical. Well, can you tell me one thing, Randy?
Yes.
Can you tell me what you see, the difference compared, because I'm in a different country from you, right? You're in Vegas.
Yes.
How you can compare Vegas to Chiang Mai, Thailand? Well, what really stands out to you?
Comparing Las Vegas to Chiang Mai?
Yeah.
Well, let me just do a little commercial for Las Vegas, because Las Vegas is one of the most amazing places in the world, and a lot of people who've never been here know Las Vegas from the big casinos on the Strip or the downtown Fremont Street district. But it's a pretty normal town. It's actually a very large town, but it's a very normal town, and of course, if you a lot of I rarely go down to the Strip unless we have company in town and they want to go see something. But there are incredible things there. I think one of the you can go down to one of the large casinos on the Strip, and you might find a chandelier that costs $1 million. And
wow.
It as incredible as that is, and it always amazes me, because what could $1 million do in a country like Thailand? How many kids could that one chandelier feed? How many lives could be changed in incredibly positive ways, or even saved? Because there's kids that are dying. One of the things that I used to talk about when I was doing seminars is I would snap my finger like that 6 times, because every 6 seconds somewhere in the country there's a child that dies because they don't have food to eat. And here in this town, I mean, just a couple of miles from where I'm sitting right now, you can find a chandelier that costs $1 million. And so, I don't want to moralize about all that, but in Chiang Mai, you see, it's just a different kind of life. You don't see that opulence. You don't see. Of course, here we have all these people coming from all over the world that, and from some of the countries. You have, it's almost like money means nothing. You can go to a table kind of like this in one of the casinos where they're laying down $50,000 a bet, or $100,000 a bet, or even more sometimes. Sometimes it's quite a bit more, and just throwing that money down, as if it's nothing, whether they win or lose or what. And you don't see that in Thailand. You see a lot of poverty, and you see a lot of life. I have such admiration for you for spending, so many years there helping people in the little ways. And as you know, it doesn't take a lot of money. You can make a big difference with just small amounts. And so if we have people out there that maybe just want to contribute, $25 a month or $50 a month, $100 a month. Tell us, what can $100 a month do for how many kids could that help?
Well, it could help many, but it depends how we could help them with that. Like, it could send 3 kids for the very basic necessity to go to school, if that was every month, of course. Or it could feed 10 children over a week period, $100. And here, like in the US, you can pay $10 for one Starbucks coffee. Yeah. So the difference is phenomenal compared to the West, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I used to go through 4 big 45-kilogram sacks of rice a week trying to feed these orphans, and that was like what, $20-$30, right, for a sack of rice. That's just the rice, and then you've got to get the other vegetables and meat or whatever you get to feed them. So yeah, it could feed 10 children $100 for an entire week. That's 3 good meals a day. And you know, you can nail it right down to the very nitty gritty. You know, it's giving life, and what we can go and spend out on a restaurant or in a Starbucks. Because I know when I went to New York, the queues to go to Starbucks or these coffee shops were just absolutely phenomenal, and people were lining up, and they were very willing to give the $10 for the Starbucks coffee, and the lines were hundreds of people, you know, long. So I was thinking, that's $10, $10, $10, $10. How much could that help these kids, you know, even in America, and how much could it help them in the UK, and how much could it really, really help them in places like Southeast Asia, Thailand, and Burma? It can go so much more than what it can do here. And $100, you know, kids in the UK and America, they get $100 pocket money, and they just spend it on gadgets or sweets, you know, and so it can send somebody to school. It can feed them, it can clothe them, it can empower them, it can set up a small business in Thailand or Burma. It can go so much more. And you know, the $1 million chandelier, wow, that is mind-blowing. And we have the same thing in the UK. We have $1 million chandeliers here, the same. And when I see them, I think, well, they're beautiful. And same as you, I don't want to moralize. People have what they have, right? But it can go so much more further to really help mankind and humanity and give them back their dignity and the love that they deserve to have, because we're all human beings and we all deserve that love.
Absolutely. And I think what's really important, Gareth, is that, you know, we can all do something. And, you know, a lot of times life just sort of takes over, and, you know, we blink our eyes and a couple of years have gone by. And I mean, it seems like just yesterday when I saw you in Thailand, but, you know, it's been a few years. And life can get away from us, but we can all do something. And if we're not in a position to go travel to another country right now, or to help directly ourselves, you know, just a little bit of money directed to the right place, I mean, it can change lives. It can save lives. It can because there are children that are going to die if we don't help them somehow. And it really can make a difference. And it really, for those that don't have a lot of extra money, an extra $10, extra $20 will really make a difference, right?
Yeah, well, what really, you know, the big vast difference, you asked me earlier, what's the big vast difference? Like in the UK and the US, we have running water, which is clean, right, from our taps.
Right.
We've got drinking water. Well, in Thailand, you can't drink tap water. You've got to buy bottled water all the time, the big 5-gallon drums, so that people can have a drink of water, and we take that for granted. And, you know, some places where you came up on that moped, you don't always have electricity. You could be days without electricity. And so you've got to have those big butane gas tanks to cook on, or you cook on charcoal, things like that. But, you know, every donation can be done in Bitcoin. I've got PayPal, I've got Circle. There's ways to do it, and I want whoever gives to get the biggest bang for their buck, as you say, and with the smallest amount of fees. Yes. So, you know, Bitcoin donation is the best thing, really.
Great. Well, listen, once again, to get a hold of you, we're just about out of time, but Mr. M.R. Gareth, Gareth, Lavelle, Lavell, at gmail.com. So, you know, we have people watching from all over the country, not just Las Vegas, but actually all over the world and other countries. And so we'll challenge everyone out there to get a hold of Pastor Gareth and let him help you either to make some money or to find a way to help some kids, and your life will be blessed for that. Well, Gareth, thank you so much for being with us. It's just been great talking to you and catching up, and we'll look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon over in Thailand, and God bless you for all the years of service.
And God bless you too, and thank you for inviting me. And I'm so excited to have shared the message tonight. And remember, guys, there's my link www.kryptonair.co/Amadat. If you want to earn money, you can earn money, and you can send me some of your earnings. There you go.
There
to make
we
a
go.
difference in the world.
All right, Gareth, thanks so much. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same station. Bye-bye, everybody.